Good morning everyone. This vlog today is part of my ongoing first week testing the DJI Nano. I bought this a couple of days ago and I'm still testing it. So today's vlog is shot all in 4K 20 FPS, Rocksteady on, natural white, and everything else, shutter, ISO and white balance, everything in auto. You're hearing me right now with the internal mics. I also will only use the internal mics. This again is part of my ongoing first week of testing this DJI Nano before I give you a proper review about this camera. So yeah, with that being said, again, everything in auto, vlog style mode, and yeah, let's start the day. 10 minutes jump rope with a weighted rope done. Obviously, you don't need to do that. I always say I'm the person who rather does something on a regular basis instead of being effective. So I rather do, 1 minute of jump ropes or just a couple of push-ups, but I do it every single day. And me now being able to do 10 minutes of jump ropes with a weighted rope is the result of doing this daily. Now I'm going to do kettlebell training. I guess I would put my training set whilst I'm doing these kettlebells. So maybe if you want to repeat or do them as well, feel free. Yeah, let's do some kettlebell training. Alright, just finished my first set of this workout in the morning. This is basically what I do every single morning. Today only one set actually, because my wife and we're going to a tree climbing park later this day, and I don't want to exert myself too much. I mean, I have somewhat of fear of height a little bit. We already went there, but you know, when you are a little bit more afraid or you have respect for whatever you're doing, you tend to exert yourself a little bit more. So yeah, I want to save some energy. But yeah, this workout basically is what I have been doing every single day. With kettlebells, I do 2 sets usually, or I do 1 set and I do some virtual VR boxing in Thrill of the Fight 2, which I think is an amazing tool to kind of, include a little bit of cardio and boxing training if you cannot go to the gym. But I think it's really important that I kind of recommend to you or advise to you, don't look at this and say, oh, this is too much, I cannot do that. Because I've built up to this amount. And also, don't get me wrong, other people might laugh at the amount or the lack of weight or the potential inefficiency of my workout. So my goal is when I work out, when I train, I always kind of think about not necessarily the efficiency, but I want to be the person who works out regularly, who kind of does this as second nature, basically. So I always kind of told myself, I'm doing this every single day. That is why I need to lower the barrier of entry. So when I started, I only did like 5 push-ups, but I told myself I want to do this every single day. And because the barrier of entry, meaning 5 push-ups, for example, or 1 minute of jump ropes was so low, I was actually able to do this every single day. And then I slowly over the years added exercises or length or weights to this daily habit. So for me, again, it's not about efficiency. It's not about getting necessarily bulky or really fit to run a marathon, but rather it is for me to do this on a daily basis, and more importantly, stay healthy without kind of overburdening myself. Because I see it so many times that people say, especially in January or coming to summer. I mean, now we are getting into spring and then suddenly summer. I see many people, oh, I need to get in shape for my summer body. And then they kind of go to the gym, exert themselves and feel really good. And then suddenly 2 weeks later, oh, I haven't been able to go to the gym again. And so I rather do something regularly, but maybe not as efficiently, but I am able to do this every single day. And I think that is one of the things why people kind of struggle with doing something regularly. They have so high goals. I also always bring up the example of saving money. People think like, oh, I cannot save money. I don't have anything left. I wouldn't be able to save $10 or $100 every month. But if you tell them, hey, why don't you save just €1 every single day or 50 cents every single day? They think like, oh yeah, that's easy. And then they do it. And then suddenly they don't even think about it, that they were able to save €30 if they saved up €1 each day per month. And then it's like, oh, okay, that was easy. And that is basically the same thing, or the same approach that I have with working out. So yeah, consider this. Maybe this is something for you. Lower the barrier of entry, but try to do it regularly. And I can tell you it is, yes, it's not as efficient as going to the gym and lifting weights really hard, and you won't get bulky. But I just know I'm fit enough for my age. I can spar pretty long in the gym when I'm going to Muay Thai training. I can lift the stuff that I need to lift on a daily basis, like water bottles. I've heard this in a video of a guy who was like 66 years old and is training really cool. And he was like, don't train. I'm paraphrasing here. I'm misquoting him here. He wasn't like trained to be good looking or fit and bulky, but trained to be capable. And that was really cool, especially coming from a 66-year-old. And he was really, in his words, capable to do the things that he has to do every single day. And I think I believe if you kind of work out every single day, you will work up to a body that will continue to stay capable the older you get. All right, I gotta get ready, do some stuff, and then we go to the tree climbing part. So for those of you who don't know, I have started taking creatine a couple of weeks ago, and I'm currently at 8 grams per day. For those of you who don't know, I'm over 40, and I wanted to take this not to kind of bulk up or anything, or not necessarily mainly for like muscle benefits, but more importantly, because there are so many studies that say the older you get, creatine actually is very beneficial, because obviously the older you get, the more muscle loss you will have. So this basically ensures that your body stays as healthy as possible, and starting from a specific amount of grams where your muscles are basically saturated with creatine, it actually helps. So once the muscles are saturated with creatine, it actually goes into your brain, and you can actually, there are studies that, please don't quote me because I'm not a health expert. This is what I've learned on YouTube and reading articles and stuff like that. So there were supposedly some studies where once your muscles are saturated, all of the excess creatine goes into your brain, because your brain is actually also a muscle. And there have been a lot of benefits where it helps in terms of sleep deprivation. So if you, for example, are traveling, it actually can help you with your brain not being as foggy due to sleep deprivation, jet lag, and stuff like that. But also in high intense modes where you, for example, have to work a lot, and your brain is very exerted, creatine can actually help to support your brain, basically. And there have been studies with depressions, not with creatine alone, but creatine can support supposedly some depression medication, for example, because obviously if your brain doesn't have to, in air quotes, fight as much because it lacks energy, this is my my interpretation of it, your brain has a little bit more capacity to deal with other stuff, basically. That's how I understood those things. Yeah. So for me personally, it is hopefully something to help my health and my body the older I get. So it's not necessarily for me getting bulkier or Wolverine-like. It's really about the health benefits. And yeah, I'm currently at month 2 and I do see some benefits of that. But yeah, I will continue using this, and then after a couple of months I get some blood work again and check it out. But for now, if you're over 40, I can highly recommend it.
Okay, this is higher than I anticipated. This is only parkour number 2. It's about 5 meters in height. And yeah, it's definitely higher than I anticipated. Well, that was a very eventful day. And as mentioned in the introduction of this video, everything that you have seen up to now was shot basically all in auto. So 4K, 20 FPS, auto shutter speed, auto ISO, auto white balance, everything recorded with the internal mics. So you can basically get an idea what a vlog should look, or not should, what a vlog with the DJI Nano would sound like. Also, everything in narrow white with Rocksteady on. But to give you an example of, let's say, studio environment setting. So this is 4K 24 frames per second. Shutter speed is set to 1/50th to kind of adhere to the 180-degree rule. You hear everything from the DJI Mic Mini that I have from my DJI Pocket 3. White balance is set to, I believe, 5300 Kelvin. Yeah, artificial lighting, here's the softbox. ISO was in auto, but I believe it will kind of go down to maybe 100 or whatever it might be. I don't know. Can I see it whilst recording? No, I cannot. So yeah, this just as a comparison, what it would look like with Rocksteady off and basically have a, let's say, cinematic setup with a set shutter speed and more importantly with the audio coming from a lav mic, basically right directly from my mouth. I haven't watched the things that I recorded today yet, but from my previous vlogs, I was really impressed by the internal mic. But I guess you now listening to the lav mics, you probably hear a huge difference that this does sound a little bit better. Yeah, that was my vlog, and I'm actually pretty impressed by this camera, but don't forget to subscribe so you will see my final review of this DJI Nano. Obviously, for me, this is going to be a vlogging camera, as you've been seeing during this day, and seeing this being so small has really made it so easy to just film wherever I am and just kind of create shots in the heat of the moment creatively, especially in the climbing park. It was so easy to utilize this magnetic pendant, and having everything in auto makes it so much easier. what I did notice is this was a very, at least for Hamburg on the 1st of May, a very warm day. It was actually, I believe it was 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. And I was actually doing very long takes. I just switched it on and we went to the course where we climbed, and every climbing scenario was at least 10 minutes, but up to 25 in some occasions where we had to wait, and I always kept it running and it did not overheat. I didn't have any overheating warnings. What I did notice is that my 64 gigabytes of storage was full before we ended the day. But as I said, 25 minutes tops, continuously recording, it was bound to happen that those 64 gigabytes with 4K would fill up really fast. Oh, by the way, everything in high bit rate. Totally forgot to mention that. But again, everything before this take in auto, this is basically a manual setting. This camera was amazing, was really working well during that day. Yeah, but again, subscribe to see my full review of this camera pretty soon. Maybe check out my vlog from yesterday up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.